Yay, it says we're live. Oh, there.
Hopefully the video quality is better than it looks on the screen.
Can y'all hear us?
It's very bright.
Well, why don't we turn some lights off? It's this that's making it bright. We look like we're news anchors. There. I don't know if we're... I can hear you and see you. Yay! Hi, Terry.
All right.
Okay.
And Alma's back. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Alma. Spence was... He's like, look what I can do. And then he was trying to show me because I made him a moderator and he starts clicking buttons and then he messed up your sweet comment. So sorry about that.
You were the guinea pig.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
So welcome aboard, everybody. Different setup today. Oh, we got to get off of the table or it's going to shake.
Sorry, you can't touch the table.
We wanted to move to a different room
Brian.
today. And so the setup is very different. I'm not sure it doesn't look like the camera quality is anywhere near as good on this.
No, we're still figuring it out. Mr. Daily DIYer is on here.
Mr. Daily DIYer.
Well, I know Shannon's with him, so probably. Hi, Holly. Hi, Mary. You just told me you're live now. Hey, Shannon and Jennifer, my girls. Hey, girls. Look at those two. They're so sweet. The best. Okay. So, as promised, we're going to be chatting. Well, I wanted to say that I was cleaning out drawers. And I had a ton of stencils that I made last year when I used to do a craft night, but because of COVID, I can't do the craft night anymore. So I'm going to give these away to people for being here today. So there we go. Easter stencils. Okay, so we're going to talk. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask us. But a lot of people are wanting to know our contractor story, as well as how we fared through the storm last week. Okay, so I'll start. All right, so we last July hired a contractor that, for the most part, we liked him. First impression was good. He had really good reviews, came recommended from several different people, and I thought he was pretty professional. You liked him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we liked him. We had 3 different people come out. So we went with him, and they came and demoed within, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 days, got it all demoed in 2 days. So we were off to a great start. The red flags, which now when I go back and look, were probably red flags, but at the time I didn't think much of it. When he was demoing, he was like, I really need you to go pick out your fixtures, yada, yada, and I need you to put them in a cart, tell me what they are, and then send me the money. So I picked it out, and he told me that by doing it that way, I would get a discount. Well, when I put it in the cart, it was a price. And then when he asked me for the money, it was the same price. But he told me, no, there's been a discount applied. So I didn't really think much of it at the time. Come to find out, I think he really just needed the money from us. That will be important when I come back in November to tell you about that. So just remember, he needed that money really fast. So thank you, Shannon. Yes, it did say something else, but Spence didn't like what I had up there it was a joke. Tell him what it said. The letterboard. Shannon's talking about the letterboard.
What did it say?
It said,
oh, if a police officer pulls over a U-Haul truck, is he busting a move?
Did he bust a move? Okay, no. Okay. I thought it was funny, but anyway, that's very true. Try to say bubbles when you're mad. You can't. All right, back to the contractor. So then it took about a week or 2 before they started to actually come and do some work. And first it was the tile guy, right? Was the tile guy the first guy?
No.
Who was the first guy? Don't even remember.
Filling in the inset tub and then doing the framework.
Oh,
and
the plumbing.
For the shower.
That was our plumber. Okay. So the plumber came, did his thing. And then after the plumber came, sorry, I don't know where the mic is. Okay. After the plumber came, then the tile guy came.
Sarah Jane's here.
Sarah Jane's here? Hey, Sarah Jane. I knew Sarah
Don't-
Jane would appreciate
no.
that letterboard. What? Oh,
I
don't say
didn't get that. Could you try again?
Siri thinks you're talking to her because you
Oh, because you're in my contacts.
I'm not
Oops.
sure
No,
I
'cause-
understand.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, so then the tile guy came, did his thing. Now, in between, he would never have a guy come on Mondays. Like, he just didn't work on Mondays. And they wouldn't ever tell us, like, he would tell me a time they're going to show up. None of the workers ever really showed up till like 1 p.m. Or they just showed up at 6:30 at night. Like, there was no consistency on a schedule. After a couple of weeks, Spence was mostly dealing with it since Spence is in construction. The contractor just stopped talking to him. We're pretty sure he blocked his number because he would not respond to Spence at all and wouldn't just talk to him. So at that point, I started texting him. So we kind of did, I guess, good cop, bad cop. So I was really nice. But then things started going sideways when after the, was it the granite guy? I can't even remember. The granite guy came, did the thing, and while he was here installing, asked us if we had paid our contractor. Then the plumber showed up on our doorstep on a Saturday. Spence looks mad about that too. The plumber showed up on the doorstep on a Saturday asking us if we'd paid our contractor. And then the third guy that asked about it was, there was one other, the granite guy, the painter guy. And then the whole time we ended up having 3 different plumbers come through on the job. Our contractor was feeding these stories about, well, he's working over there. He can't come here. Sorry, you're on the schedule. I don't know what to tell you. So, and the whole time we kept waiting for fixtures, and the fixtures never showed up. So at some point we had the tile all done. We had gotten him to go to Home Depot. He bought 1 faucet for us and then put in this cheapy thing just so we could use the shower. And we sat like that for about 2 months, probably, with that setup.
Maybe.
No glass. And so what happened was for the second time when the contractor told me, sorry, they sent the wrong fixture parts. I don't know what's going on. And this was about November. So the job started in July. This was November. We're still waiting on fixture parts. So what I did is I went around him and I actually called the company. We use build.com, and he had given me his contact there. So I contacted her directly and I said, look, I don't understand why y'all can't get the parts sent right. To which she responded, yeah, he's never ordered the parts. He just ordered them for the first time yesterday. And I was like, what? What do you mean he didn't order? And so then I was like, can you tell me?
And he still hadn't ordered everything.
And he hadn't ordered everything. He had ordered 1 shower head, it wasn't even everything that we were supposed to have. And so she sent me a copy of it. So I then called the contractor and I called him out on it. And of course he started to backpedal, and then he was like, oh, well, and he just got real quiet. And I was just very matter of fact. I was like, I don't care what you need to do to get this done. I just need you to get it done. So I kind of gave him a couple of ultimatums, and he started to kind of get on the ball. And from that point, when I really busted him about the money, because we had overpaid and there were credits that hadn't been given back to us, he got the job done in about 3 weeks, I think. It was the middle of December.
You got mean, and so then he started talking to me again.
Yes, that's right. I did.
Because I pulled the, hey, I'm a contractor too, and we've all been there. I haven't been there, but we've all been there where, cash flow is a problem. What's really going on? Is there something I can help you with? Is there something I can walk you through on, how to do this? Do you have a line of credit somewhere? Do you whatever else? Because
and he'd also had 2.
I'm a contractor, but I'm like a
yeah.
a medium-sized company, and he's like a one-man guy that runs out of his pickup truck.
Yeah. And he'd also had a medical thing pop up, which we were very understanding about, whether, anyway, doesn't matter what we think about that. We gave him, the benefit of the doubt. And then he also fell off a roof a couple weeks later. So there were several things that kept happening that was delaying him being able to get work done, I guess. And so I kind of got irritated at him and stopped being super nice. And then he talked to Spence for a little while. And then as we were finally wrapping up, of course, at the end, we have a small amount. We had 10% left we had to pay. And I showed Spence, I was like, Spence, we've overpaid. And so I went through it with Spence and I said, these are the payments we made. I matched it up to the invoice. I did everything. And it showed him owing us $2,700. And so when he came over, he had the invoices and he was like, okay, so it looks like you owe us. And I was like, yeah, no, we don't owe you that. And he was just, it was like a total shock to him. And so he sat down and tried to figure it out. And then he was like, oh, I'll get back to you. I need to think about it. So we gave him another week to try to figure out, does he really owe us that money? And then I sent him one final text and I just basically said, if we don't have a cashier's check or cash, I told him he could not pay by check, by tomorrow at 9 p.m. And then I listed everything I was going to do, which was, file with the state attorney general, file basically post reviews about our entire experience. One little thing that is a red flag is if you pick a business and they're on Facebook and they don't have reviews enabled, think twice about that, because he used to have reviews. And when he first started his company, he had good reviews. I was actually able to chit chat with the plumber and find out about I found out about several other clients he had at the moment. One had given him this massive deposit of $20,000 and 3 months later he hadn't started the job. And I actually talked to several different people that had hired him that were trying to get money back from him because they just didn't want to use him. So definitely, check the reviews. If they're not on the Better Business Bureau, which was another thing, I didn't check that. He was not on there. What else am I missing?
So I can walk you guys through this. Renee has a good question, which is what made you choose him?
Oh,
we were in a little bit of a unique situation. I have guys that I work with, custom home builders, super high-end guys that do really high-quality stuff that would be willing to take us on, even though it's a smaller job and whatever, because they know me and we do work together. And that's where we went first. I called a couple of the guys that I've worked with for years and said, hey, we need to do this. This was in the middle of the heyday of COVID, right? It's July of last year. Everybody's stuck at home, and everybody in this area decided that since they're stuck at home, they're going to redo their stuff at the house and make it the way that they need it to be, because they're working from home now. The kids weren't in school. The kids are stuck at home and they need stuff for them to do. My company was really busy last year, and so were all of these guys. And so all of them said, man, I'd love to help you out, but nobody wants to take on a project that they're doing at a discount, because I'd get a discount. As far out as we live, when most of these guys work in central Houston all day long in the big ritzy areas, in the middle of the busiest time that they've ever had. So it's always going to be harder to find someone. But at the time, we were considering the possibility of moving Courtney's mom into the house. And in order to do that, we needed to make some changes to our bathroom and add another half bath downstairs was the original plan. And so we got guys in, and one of the key factors for us was, how far out are you? Because some of these guys, like my guys, were saying, I could probably get to you in 4 or 5 months to start. And that just obviously wouldn't work for us with what we were trying to do at the time. So you're at a disadvantage when that happens. And what I would tell you in general, whether it's a bathroom or whatever your project is and you've got to deal with contractors on it, you can have things 3 different ways, right? You can have it done right. You can have it done fast. You can have it done cheap, but you can only have 2 out of the 3. And so you have to pick what's important to you. And so in our case, we want it done right and we need it done quick.
And I will say, as far as the right part, his plumber, his tile guy, and his cabinet guy, they were phenomenal. I mean, they did really good work. His granite guy, not so great.
The painter was good.
The painter was good. So his subs were really good. And that was another reason why we kind of stayed through the process with him, but just because we were happy with the work. Him as a general contractor was awful. And price-wise, he was the middle of the road. The most expensive one, it took him forever to get back to us. And then the cheapest one just never, ever gave us a quote. I mean, well, they gave us a quote, but then never came back and, did the little tweaks to it and followed up with us. So we went with him. Plus, he was the most personable. And again, according to reviews and other Facebook group, other places where I'd reached out to try to get referrals, people said, oh yeah, he did a great job. So
yeah. So you have to look at what's important to you. Everybody wants it done right. I say that most people want it done right. You really have to kind of decide what's more important to you after that. Is it price or is it speed? And in our case, it was speed. The next part is you have to look at the fact that everybody's that busy. And so if somebody's available, like right away, maybe it raises a red flag. It didn't in this case. And it didn't because of quality with this guy. That wasn't the issue.
He wasn't available right away either. I mean, there was like a 2 week before he could start.
Correct.
So kind of.
So that wasn't, but he wasn't as far out as a lot of other people.
Yeah.
What happens with contractors, especially what we call chucking a truck, which means it's a one-man operation and he has good subs. The first thing that you should be careful of is when you have someone into your house and they talk about what you want to do and they, take a bunch of notes and measure a bunch of stuff, and then they want to bring somebody back with them. And that wasn't this guy. This guy came in and looked, measured stuff, talked with us about what we wanted, and sent us a quote like 2 days later. There were other guys that came in and talked to us and then said, okay, I need to come back on Tuesday with my plumber. If you can't quote the plumbing yourself, I don't need you. I could just call a plumber myself.
So he seemed knowledable. I mean, he was very knowledgeable.
He's that's the one thing to remember about all of this.
Yeah.
This guy was not bad at what he did. I don't think that he's probably a dishonest person to start with. He has a cash flow problem.
Yeah.
He's bitten off way more than he can chew. And I got some more of the story out of him as I got back to the friendly person and I was the good cop and Courtney was the bad cop at the end. He did a spec home. And for a guy that normally does remodels to do a spec home, you're going from $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 projects, and all of a sudden you're doing a house that's worth $100,000, $200,000, something else like it, and the money just starts pouring out. And as the money starts pouring out on those deals, it's harder because you've got to front all of the money to build the thing, and you don't get it back until you sell it. So unless you've got a financial partner on those things, spec homes will eat these guys' lunches all day long. And that's the difference between using a company and using a one-man operation. With the companies, you pay more. The reason that you pay more if you're using a company that does something is they have overhead. They're going to carry more insurance. They've got an office somewhere. They've got a warehouse. They've got, company vehicles with commercial vehicle insurance on them, employees that are on payroll that get paid every week, whether you're working or not, that get benefits and everything else, which is the situation that I'm in. I'm more expensive than other people that do what I do because we have a 6,000 square foot office and employees that are on salary and they just get paid all the time no matter what. And you have a hurricane and you're shut down for 2 weeks. The power goes out for a week and nobody has water. I'm still paying my employees even though we're not doing any work. I carry way more insurance than most people do, but I also cost more because of all of that stuff. So you'll save some money using a one-man guy. And for something like this and me being a contractor, it's not a bad deal. And again, his quality was great. He had a cash flow problem and just wasn't upfront about it. And so he's trying to sell jobs as quick as he can so he can get a deposit from a job so he can use that money to pay for the last job. And it's kind of a vicious cycle for them.
I also, when the 3 different subs started asking us, hey, have you paid him? I immediately went to our contractor and said, I need you to send me a
lien waiver.
Definitely get that.
This is different state by state.
Yes, it is. So a lien waiver basically means that
in the state of Texas, a contractor can file what's called a mechanic's lien. And it's the same as if you take your car to a shop. They technically own your car, or they can place a lien on it until you pay for the repairs to it. They don't have to release the car to you. Even though you have the car title, they don't have to give you your car back. When you're working in someone's home, since they can't say, hey, you can't use the bathroom until you pay for it, it's inside your house and they don't have control over it. They can place what's called a secondary lien on your property. It doesn't mean that they own your house, but it does mean that if they are owed money, at the point when you sell your house at some point in the future, it has to clear lien waivers. And what that means is if they place a lien on your property, they're going to get their money out of your sale before you get your money out of your sale.
Yeah.
And it's done a lot for new home construction. It doesn't normally happen in residential remodels. But it doesn't mean that you can't just download a quick lien waiver if it's something that applies in your state and use it for that. And when that contractor signs off on it, the general contractor is technically what this guy is considered.
Mhm.
When that contractor signs off on the lien waiver, it says that he is stating that he has paid his subs, which keeps the plumber or the painter or someone else from placing a lien on our property.
So ask for that if it applies in your state at the beginning of the job as part of your contract. Tell them.
It's each time you pay them.
Oh, each time you pay them. Sorry. Okay. Well, we'd already paid him up until we had only owed him the last payment, which we didn't actually owe. He owed us.
Right.
So, so that pretty much was our story in a nutshell. I can't think of anything else that happened that was major. It was just,
we've learned a couple of other things.
Oh, Renee, I didn't know. Okay. Good to know for our next remodel, but we're going to be our own our own general contractors on our next job, but that is good to know.
So things that we learned other than dealing with inside the house contractors, because I'm not an inside the house contractor, which is why I didn't do it. Please note that just the stuff in your bathroom is not the only thing to consider when you're redoing your bathroom or your kitchen or something else. We have learned after the fact, and it's not anything that anybody did wrong, but we went from one shower head to 2 shower heads and body jets and a wand and whatever else with it. We had plenty of pressure for it, but we run out of hot water really, really fast because we're flowing like 4 times as much water as we were before if we turn on everything in the shower.
Yeah.
And so our hot water heater lasts for about 10 minutes if we turn everything on hot in the shower.
It's a mad dash.
So we're looking at upgrading and going to a tankless system or something else so that it provides enough hot water to supply hot water for a reasonable amount of time in there.
Mm-hmm.
What else would you have done different on the bathroom?
This was our first time to ever do a remodel renovation with an actual contractor that they handle everything. Before, we have subs that we are, different trades that we like, and we would just have them and we piece it together. That's what we did at our old house when we got it ready. I would say that if you have the patience to do it that way, not even really patience, but if you are willing to be your own general contractor, do it. Find a tile guy that you love that you will continue to use. Find a plumber that you love and do it yourself, because I don't know. That may just be our personal preference, but that's definitely, I don't think we'll ever go back to letting somebody be the general contractor. We'll do it because we've got all the people that we like. So that would be my recommendation. Alma asked about my mom.
Oh.
Tankless? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So what's the update on your mom?
So my mom, can you answer that text to Bailey? Just say yes. Sorry. So my mom,
I didn't get it.
Her cancer markers, each time she goes for her lab, she goes every 2 weeks. Her cancer markers what are you doing?
I'm using your face for Face ID.
Okay. Her cancer markers have significantly gone up. So she is definitely, whereas before she was kind of on a plateau, kind of slow downtrend, I guess you could say. Now she's on what the doctor's calling a stair step. So she kind of steadies out and then it drops really fast and then steadies out. So her cancer markers are on an uptrend right now. And she's, in 2 weeks, we're kind of making the appointment and the decision at that point, whether or not she may be transitioning to supportive care or hospice. So she's still, she can still, she's still eating and she's on oxygen full time and getting around as far as in her wheelchair, but she's definitely on the decline, I would say. So that's kind of the latest.
All right. Winter storm story.
Winter storm story. Oh, yeah. Winter storm story. Okay. So we just got our hot water yesterday. That was exciting. No more. Thank you, Alma. No, Renee, she's not living with. She lives about 30 seconds up the road in a
literally 30 seconds.
Literally 30 seconds up the road in a retirement home right now. So we're going to make adjustments, possible living adjustments according to the doctor's appointment in 2 weeks. Okay, so last Sunday, the power went off. I actually think it went off about 1 o'clock for a little bit in the morning. 2:00 in the morning, it went off. It stayed off exactly 15 minutes, popped back on. And then at 2:25, it went off. It continued to stay off until
Take a step back.
Wednesday of what?
So we knew we were getting a winter storm.
Oh.
And they were
Yes.
predicting
Here's
some
what
wintry mix and ice on Sunday night a week ago. And then Monday we were supposed to get like 4 to 6 inches of snow, which is unheard of in Houston, Texas. It happens once every 5 or 10 years, and it's not 4 to 6 inches usually. It's a light dusting that looks pretty on the grass because it was 75 degrees here the day before.
Yeah.
It does freeze occasionally in Houston, but when I say it freezes in Houston, like the low temp at night will be 28 or 29, and then it's back to 42 during the day or something like it. Texas in general is not prepared for any winter weather when it comes to roads, especially bridges and overpasses. Like they'll drive dump trucks around and put some sand and gravel down, but there's no de-icing, spraying, putting down potassium chloride. There's no such thing as a snowplow in Texas or anything like it. And so it's a big deal if they predict this stuff a week in advance. People are already shutting stuff down in Texas, but that's it. Like everybody stays home. The schools close for a day or two, even though the roads aren't really bad, because I came down here from up north. I went to high school in St. Louis. I learned how to drive in the snow and ice. And so I kind of freaked out the first time they had something down here, because you go and drive around and the streets are empty and everything's closed. And I'm like, what's going on? And somebody's like, it snowed. I'm like, yeah, there's a little dusting on the grass over there, but that's about it. So they predicted this storm was coming in. Sunday, it got cold, and by noon on Sunday, it was below freezing, which is weird for us to have below freezing temps during the day here. We went to bed that night just with it cold outside and some icy stuff going on outside and things starting to get a little coating of ice. And then, like Courtney said, the power went off.
Yeah,
Right.
The power went off. So we woke up Monday, and that was supposed to be it was a teacher work day anyway, so the kids weren't supposed to be at school, and they'd called off for Monday. And literally the temperature in the house just continued to drop, and it was, I don't know, were the roads travel? I don't even remember, to be honest.
I went out.
You went out.
Yeah. So when we got up, the power went off. I woke up, that when it gets really quiet, the ceiling fans stop and everything. I woke up because the power went off and stayed off, and Courtney was awake. And so I checked. We don't lose a lot of power here. We don't normally lose it during hurricanes or anything else.
Tristan!
So when the power went off, I have my little ways of checking stuff and trying to figure out what's going on. I can check the cameras at work to see if the power's off there too. And it was, which is a little weird for both of us to have power out because the office is not anywhere near here. And so I went and looked at what was going on. And that's when they said ERCOT, which you may have heard of on the news by this point, which is like the regulatory agency for electricity in Texas, had announced that they were pushing out to the delivery companies. And Texas is weird. Texas is not on the federal power grid. We are our own power grid, separate from the whole rest of the country. We're the only state that is not on the federal grid because that's how we do it in Texas.
Yeah, it worked real well for us. Sorry.
ERCOT had told the energy delivery companies, which are the people that own all the transmission lines and get power to your house, essentially, that they needed to cut power by X% wherever. And so they were announcing that they were instituting rolling blackouts and that they might last up to an hour. So we looked at it, said, okay, maybe the power will be out for an hour. We're going back to sleep. And we went back to sleep. We woke up Monday morning, 6 inches of snow, over ice that had come the night before, but still not that bad. Still no power, and cold outside. And when I say cold outside, super cold for here. So it had gone below freezing Sunday around lunchtime, 1 p.m., something like that. And the high temperature on Monday, I think, was 17 degrees here.
Yeah.
Like it was.
And we also, unfortunately, we're one of those houses, we need to get new windows. So we have original windows from the 80s. So not really well insulated at all. And our fireplace did not work. It was leaking gas and we couldn't use it.
Because nobody ever turns it on because it's too hot here.
Yeah, we never turn it on. So that wasn't in the heating because an option for us. And we didn't have a gas stove. So that wasn't an option for us.
So we were essentially,
so the first day it was like inside the house. We hit what? 50 degrees
54 I think
54 we were Monday, so Monday inside we
were
were 54 degrees. And then
I got out and drove around in the snow and found a gas station that was running off of a generator and got Courtney her coffee.
Yeah.
It was not pretty before that point. And
well, they probably, if you saw my story, how excited I was when the power came back on. That's the first thing I did was make coffee.
The kids, I mean, they're teenagers. They were more worried that devices weren't working than anything else, but we were getting the constant, when's it going to come back on? When's it going to come back on? And as we're starting to look online, we're starting to see that rolling didn't actually happen and nobody had any answers and nobody was sure what's going on because it's now a problem with the power generation. In other words, the power plants that actually make the electricity in Texas weren't prepared for temperatures this cold.
Spence did with Andy, because luckily that Thursday before Andy came home for Valentine's weekend, she's our one that's away.
It was already
college,
snowing in Georgetown,
and it was already and he was already having to fight ice and stuff on the roads. We're so glad that she came home because it's an old university and they had all kinds of trouble at her university, and so she's actually still home now because the air condition doesn't work in their dorm. So, but I lost my train of thoughts. You can keep talking.
Stop bumping the table.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to bump the camera.
Okay, so I got out and got coffee and hot chocolate for
Tuesday,
the kids.
Yeah, this was on Tuesday.
Monday.
Oh, we're still on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by noon or so on Monday.
It's Presley.
Oh, Bailey's leaving with her friends. She's turned 16 and they all pick each other up in their cars and go places now.
Yeah. Radio's a little loud.
I'll let you deal with that one. So I got out and got coffee and hot chocolate, and we still had cell service, which a lot of people didn't. So we were fortunate for that because we could at least check and see what was going on or check in with other people.
Yep.
But we would start up a vehicle in the driveway and everybody would pile in so that you could warm up for a little while and charge your cell phone and, do whatever you were going to do. And then we'd go back inside and try and explain to the kids what it was like in the olden days when we walked to school uphill both ways in 6 feet of snow. And
at that point on Monday, there was no food anywhere. The stores had been open for a little bit and had been completely wiped out.
We had tons of food in the house.
We did.
We had no way to cook it.
Right. We had plenty of bread, peanut butter, jelly.
Because it's an electric range, and we didn't electric oven.
Yeah. We didn't want to open the fridge, so we tried to keep that, but that was a bust.
Yes, we're well aware that it's nice and cold outside.
Yes.
It was not cold enough in the house yet at that point to sustain that stuff. And some stuff you can't just sit out in the snow, but freezer stuff, you toss it outside, sit it in the snow, and it's just fine. Yeah. We actually didn't lose any freezer stuff.
No, we didn't. Our freezer is fantastic. I don't know what it's the best brand we've ever had. It has when you open it and you close it, the seal enacts and you can't actually open it till it gets right back to temp and it completely yes, Renee, where my mom is.
So Monday at lunchtime we got the call, hey, mom is
water and power. They had lost water early on and power. So my brother picked her up. He has a big 4-wheel truck and he drove her to the hospital and she was able to stay because she's full-time oxygen. She was able to stay at the hospital here for the week during all of that. So
once she was squared away, now it's down to just, are we going to be miserable or what do we do? What happens? And so by Monday night, still no power. Nobody has any answers for anything. So we, told all the kids to bundle up, got everybody extra blankets, went to bed.
We were kind of optimistic because we were seeing other people that would say, oh, our power's been off for 12 hours. It just came back on for an hour, but it went back off. So we were thinking, oh, okay, well, maybe we're going to be next. They're going to turn us on. But unfortunately, we were in the group that they never turned back on, ever.
And so Monday night, I think the low temp was 7 or something. It was really cold
5.
Monday night.
It was really cold.
It set a record low temp Monday night for everything. On Tuesday, it still didn't get above freezing.
The house at that point was like 40, it was like 40
mid 40s, 45,
degrees,
something like that
on Tuesday when
on
he woke up.
Tuesday. The sun came out on Tuesday, which was nice because it melted some of the stuff off of the roadways. Even though it was cold, the sun was out, and so we were getting some melting because some of the pavement was still warm underneath. And Courtney found out from one of her friends that they had gotten power back at this one little block of strip center around the corner from us, and that 2 of the restaurants were opening up. So we went to one of them, and they
apparently
were open.
all of everybody in our town went there as well.
They were open, but they only had one person who could make it in to cook in the kitchen. So it was going to take them for forever. And after 20 or 30 minutes, we tried the other place.
There was a little Mexican restaurant, and so we got in over there, and it took forever, but we didn't care.
But it was warm inside, and they had food,
and there was food.
It wasn't peanut butter and
it
jelly.
was before the boil notices went up, because Tuesday night is when all the boil notices went up. So then all the none of the restaurants had water. None of them had ice. None of the gas stations had ice or drinks, fountain drinks.
If they had power back on.
And
there were still very few of those. So Tuesday night, we went to bed, and it was cold again, not as cold. I think it was like 19 or something Tuesday night.
It was warm.
When we got up Wednesday morning, it was 40 degrees, 41 degrees, I think, inside our house. Yeah. And at that point,
we got into the 30s. It was on Wednesday morning, we were 38 degrees or something. We got into 30s in the house.
So it's colder than the refrigerator. So now everything's good. We're maintaining, temperatures, just opening the refrigerator doors. But yeah, it was cold and miserable by that point. Like we were wearing ski clothes in the house.
Lots of layers. Yeah.
Bunch of layers and coats and hats and gloves and heavy boots and
the dogs. So Lucky, our little terrier, we put his sweater vest on him. I think Spence. Okay, sorry. The kids and I put his sweater vest, his little Argyle sweater vest. He posted about it, I think, on Instagram. I don't know, but he did not like it at all because he's old. He's like 15 years old, so I think his joints were bothering him. Our lab's hip got really bad, and she still hasn't quite recovered from it. So and our vet's office had lots and lots of damage, so we couldn't take her to the vet because they had pipes burst and all this other stuff. Oh, Tuesday's when we lost water too.
Yeah, so that's what we're getting to.
Yeah.
So Tuesday.
So they did okay, but they were cold, so we wrapped blankets around them, and Lucky was just always under covers.
The sun came out, and so, like I said, it was baking the roadways a little bit, and the roadways were clearing up. It also hit the roofs, and once it hit the roofs, the temperature in our attic Wednesday morning was 19 degrees, so I know it was pretty cold on Tuesday as well, but it had obviously frozen, and in Texas, because it doesn't freeze for very long, if at all, it doesn't get cold enough in your attic to really worry about anything, so the pipes in everybody's attics here are not insulated. You just have a bunch of exposed pipes in your attic. Most people don't insulate the roof lines unless you come back and do it later on. So all of the insulation in the attic just sits on top of the ceiling above you. That means everything in the attic is uninsulated, unwrapped, unwhatever. And once the temperatures get that cold, even if you had drained all of the water out of your house, which nobody did because we all had power and we don't normally lose it, everything froze and busted. When the sun started baking the roof on Tuesday, it warmed up to just above freezing in there. And once it warmed up to just above freezing, everything started spraying water. So I instantly shut the water off to the house. Fortunately, we knew what we were doing, and I knew how to turn the water off to the house. And we heard it the second that it happened. We did not have any water damage. Other people were not so lucky. When we went to lunch on Tuesday, Courtney got a call from one of our neighbors, an older couple that has been dealing with some health issues and whatever. And so she got a call like, hey, is Spencer available? Because we just had a massive leak in the house. And so without even asking where the leak was or doing anything else, I just ran over to their house and shut their water off at the street. First thing I did. And then I went inside, and
it was bad. The water was coming from the light fixtures. Y'all probably saw, I'm sure they showed that kind of stuff on the news, but it was legit.
Every light fixture in the entire house, upstairs and down, every return for all
ours
of Ours
was like right where it happened, where the water heat. Well, we had some on that side, but that didn't leak water until we actually turned the water back on, and the plumber was here to fix it.
We had 5 burst pipes.
And this one over here, it leaked down the walls onto the carpet. So our carpet got drenched, and it also went into our air duct and went straight down our air return. So we were able to put bowls in there and kind of air it out. and collect the water that was dripping. And then it came down into the kitchen onto the floor. And at some point it did get kind of underneath the floor, but we blasted it with fans and like you said, we were right there when it happened. So we were able to try to remedy it as quickly.
We
as
didn't
we
have
could.
Water damage. Other people, their entire ceilings fell in because they got
Our neighbors
so wet before
right
they could
across
turn
the
their water
street
off.
here, their entire house has been gutted to the studs. Both floors, like completely gutted. They lost everything.
The couple that I turned off a couple of houses down, 2 of their ceilings they had to pull down because they were so soaked.
It's a nightmare.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of people did a lot worse than us with that, but we had 5 broken pipes. And so now we had no water. We still have no power. It's Tuesday afternoon, no power, and now no water.
But we had a pool that we could still flush our toilets.
Correct. Once you chipped the ice off of the spa.
Yes, once you chipped the ice
That's
off.
how cold it got here. That water that was 50-something degrees, a few days before froze over.
Yeah.
And so pretty miserable at that point because there's no bottled water available. Even if you can get to the grocery store isn't open because they don't have power. Even if they're open, they don't have anything to sell. Nobody was expecting this. We were expecting a couple of cold days and maybe some snow and everybody would stay home. No big deal. But once they started turning the power off, it went bad because everything else was a result of the power being off. The pipes wouldn't have frozen if our power stayed on in the house. We wouldn't have been looking for things to eat that don't require to be cooked and having to try and get to a store and whatever if that were the issue. We wouldn't have been looking for bottled water if there wasn't a boil notice. There wouldn't have been a boil notice if the power hadn't been off for that long.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to bed Tuesday night. Everybody's cold and miserable at this point. Renee, that's an interesting question. I'll get to that one in a minute. So Wednesday morning, we woke up and we're starting to hear that they're getting more people's power back on because Wednesday it warmed up. I think Wednesday got to 35.
Yeah, and it literally felt hot.
We
went outside and we're like, it's so hot because our house had been so cold. It was crazy.
So it was below freezing from noon on Sunday to about noon on Wednesday, which is unheard of here. And I mean really cold, single-digit temperatures at night on Monday night, record low temperatures. I think we broke the record that was 124 years old here in Houston. Wednesday morning at 11 or
12.
noon or something, our power came back.
It was literally, I had just shared a story on Instagram about our update, and literally about 20 minutes after that, the power came on.
So we were just shy of 60 hours, like 58 or 59 hours without power, below freezing the entire time and all of that. At that point, I needed to get out and check on the office. We still had no water here, but the office has been without power the same amount of time, and the temperature is now getting above freezing. And so that means that all of those busted pipes will thaw out and start to spray water everywhere. And so my business partner and I ran out. We made it over to the office just fine. And sure enough, 15 minutes after we walked in, water started gushing out of one of the walls in the building. So we shut off the water to the building. Now came the really interesting part. So power's back on at our house. Courtney has already talked to our plumber before all of this and said, hey, we had to shut the power off. There's something busted in there. He said, yeah, once we can, shut the water off. Once the roads are safe, I can get over there. You're first on the list and we'll get it taken care of. And so now we're calling people and it's like, yeah, so there's no parts available for anything. Because what happens in Texas, if you think it's going to freeze, my sprinkler guy that does all my irrigation stuff for all of my projects went the week before the freeze and bought every vacuum breaker he could find because they're all going to freeze on everybody's sprinkler systems.
Which our sprinkler system is completely damaged and our pool is completely shot.
And that's where the homeowner's insurance is a little iffy right now. I'm paying for outdoor stuff like sprinkler systems and pool equipment.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of exclusions. And we're trying to navigate all that right now because our pool is completely
So we have no pool equipment left, no pipes on it. I can't check everything else on the pool until the pipes are fixed. I can't fix the pipes because there's no PVC available because literally anything that anybody had got bought up. and then nothing could come in with everybody shut down and no power. And then they've been trying to get stuff in, but literally as soon as it comes in, it sells out again.
Yeah.
Copper has probably been the worst.
Even hot water heaters that the plumber said
one of our water heaters burst.
He was like, I was able to get one for you and that's it. And
he finally got one yesterday, 10 days after the storm.
Yeah.
And so that's been the next part. There's still people without water right now because they can't get a plumber to come out because the plumbers are too busy. If you call a plumber right now and say, hey, I've got a leak in a pipe, they'll tell you to buzz off. They're dealing with people that still don't have water from major breaks and stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it. And, that makes sense. We intentionally did not have like our fireplace fixed yet, even though it's a gas line and the plumber needs to do it because we don't need it right now. And they need to focus on the people that still don't have water because there are still people that don't have water. So I think most people's power came back on by Wednesday night. There were a few people that went off again after that.
150,000 people still didn't have it as of Thursday.
But none of it from storm damage. And that's the part that I think a lot of people didn't understand. It wasn't ice breaking power lines or things like it because we don't put power lines above the ground here. They just blow away in hurricanes. So we didn't have damage from the storm. We had way too much usage because it's so cold and everybody's on electric here instead of gas for a lot of stuff. Because electric's so cheap in Texas that the pressure on the grid, there was way too much pressure on the grid to try and produce electricity. And then the producers, windmill farms froze up, natural gas producers actually had natural gas lines coming into their systems freeze. There's a big nuclear power plant just south of us here down on the coast, and it intakes water in order to cool its reactors and everything with it. Well, the water intake pipes all froze up on it. And I mean, these things are like 6 feet across. To try and freeze a 6-foot pipe flowing water through it is unheard of here, but that's how cold it got. And nobody had any way to deal with it because just like our roads, there's no such thing as snowplows or de-icing or anything else here. No one was equipped to deal with it. So literally the people that make the electricity in Texas froze up and couldn't make electricity, and that's what happened to us.
So what we've decided now is we're bumping up priority of projects. We're going to get a whole home generator. Given that we are in hurricane area and I guess freakish storms, we just feel like that would be a very good investment at this point.
We'll go whole home generator. And
although during Harvey, we never lost power. We were very lucky, but I think if something like that came now, we probably would. We were some of the very few that didn't lose power during Harvey. It flickered, but we never lost it.
Yeah. The other thing that we've looked at pretty hard now is at some point when we redo the kitchen, because that's been on Courtney's list for forever, we're going to change out to the gas stove. And although we have talked to some people, including my engineer that I use for stuff, who had gas stoves. Maybe you guys can tell me more about this because I don't know anything about appliances. He had a gas stove, but he still couldn't turn it on because there is a safety mechanism that if there's not power to it, because it has auto shut off and some stuff like it, you still can't light it when there's no electricity. Now, it would use a whole lot less electricity from a whole home generator, and so we'd still have it with that, and I think it would be fine. But yeah, I've never heard of a gas stove that doesn't work if the power is out. And it wasn't just that the electronic ignition didn't light. He couldn't get gas to come out to sit there with a lighter and light it up because of some safety feature on it.
So yeah, that was pretty much 2021 was, okay, Jennifer said she could use their gas stove. Jennifer's in Dallas.
Aren't you fancy?
Dallas is just fancier than
Dallas
Houston.
is the fancy part of Texas.
Yeah.
We all still ride horses to work down here.
Yeah. What about cooking on the grill? We don't own a grill.
We own the grill and we gave it away to Courtney's brother.
Literally just about a month or two ago, we gave our grill away to my brother. So yeah. We didn't have a grill. Like we had nothing.
Jennifer got below 9. How long was your power out?
No, it says
Jennifer?
below 0. That's a 0.
I can't see from here.
She said 20 hours, I think, or a little over 20 hours. Yeah. So yeah, 2020 was kind of rough. 2021 still a little rough for us over here. So
Brian's gas valve won't work without 110. Okay.
20 hours for Jennifer. So there you go. That's kind of what we've been up to. Surviving freakish storms.
So that's why there was no content last week.
Yeah, why there hasn't really been any vlog.
Courtney was like, well, I don't have anything else to do. Maybe I'll go work on a crafting project. Oh, wait.
And my hands were too cold. I couldn't, I was wearing gloves at some point and I couldn't even I was like, oh, this is a good time to pump out content because the sun was shining, but yeah, no. So not much happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much third world country for 3 days here.
No. Oh, but I did want to show y'all what we found. Okay. So on Tuesday when we ventured out, we went to Buc-ee's. Y'all have heard us talk about Buc-ee's. They were out of everything. Every food, every snack, except for this. Wait for it. They had tons and tons of bags of Dr. Pepper cotton candy. Tons.
For those of you who don't know, in the state of Texas, you put Dr. Pepper in or on everything. There's a fast food restaurant that makes a Dr. Pepper milkshake. There's,
we haven't tried it yet.
It's like the official drink of Texas, I think.
Yeah.
Even though I quit drinking soda.
So Dr. Pepper, this is all they had at Buc-ee's was Dr. Pepper cotton candy.
Yeah, so Renee, the homeowner's insurance is basically wait and see on the pool and sprinkler systems and the stuff outside of the house.
Yeah.
Because they're not considering it an accessory structure, and we're trying to figure out if they're going to cover it or not.
Yeah.
And I sure hope they cover the pool equipment.
We also got price gouged because
everybody got price gouged.
Yeah, well, not with our regular plumber though. We were able to get another plumber just to temporarily come in and fix some of the leaks because Spence was able to, turn off the water heater, fix that side. But the other one we really needed to, and our plumber hadn't quite gotten to us yet. So this guy came out, but he was like, yeah, it's $500 just for me to come out, which most of the plumbers weren't. They were just charging per break, but he charged a fee just to come out plus.
Yeah, but the guy that did this stuff at the office was $300 per break, and I had 2 breaks there. I mean, that's.
Yeah, but most of the people don't charge. I don't know. Anyway,
yeah.
It was still kind of crazy, but they had a lot of nuts. Yes, Sarah Jane, they were all gone. All the beef jerky, all the nuts, all the candy bars, everything was gone from Buc-ee's except for Dr. Pepper cotton candy.
Wow, 16 days below freezing in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's crazy. That's too much. Oh, yeah, and they didn't have ice at Buc-ee's.
Nobody would make ice because they were on boil water notices.
Yeah, so that got lifted Friday of last week, Friday or Saturday.
I think Friday for most people.
Friday for most people. I think Houston was on Saturday. They lifted it. I can't quite remember. But have you tried? No, I haven't, Alma. I'll try it right now. I will try it right now in the name of YouTube.
Does it smell like Dr. Pepper?
It's pink.
Let me smell it. It's pink?
No, it just smells like cotton candy. It looks like this.
I think it's false advertising. It's just cotton candy in a Dr. Pepper bag.
It's dark.
It looks like insulation.
It tastes like cherries.
Let me try it.
It tastes like cherries. It just tastes like a cherry.
Yeah.
Fail.
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it if you.
It's not bad. It just doesn't taste like Dr. Pepper.
It just tastes like cherries. I try it. Shannon, I'll package it up and mail it to you. I'll send a little sample to you.
As many bags as they had the other day.
Yeah, they probably have more.
Some there.
Yeah. It tastes just like cherries. So.
All right. So other stuff that has happened since we saw you guys last. Courtney has an injury.
Oh gosh, please don't. I have 2 actually.
You can't really see the other one.
They've healed a little bit.
Why don't you tell them?
No. How I did that?
Mm-hmm.
So I had this rough spot because my skin got so dry during the ding dong storm. And I decided I was going to loofah my elbows.
Loofah?
Well, it wasn't a loofah. I didn't use a loofah. I used what did you call it? What are you doing? Oh my gosh, you went and got it. You're such a butt.
Courtney decided to use a cheese grater. If you can't really see on here, it's hard to tell. this is metal.
I did not
and it
use
looks like a cheese
side.
grater.
I'm not that dumb.
She said, "Oh, I got rough skin on here. I think I'll just," and proceeded to cheese grater her elbows. So that's why Courtney has.
Scarlett wants this, Kristen. Okay, I'll send some to Scarlett.
So yeah, just
yeah,
as a note to self, if you have some rough skin on your elbows, don't use a cheese grater.
It's
on
not
them.
a cheese grater.
That's what it looks like.
Don't be ridiculous. In other news, Spencer has clearly never gotten a pedicure. He did one time, but he laughed a lot because
it tickles.
Kristen K, zip it.
What did she say? I didn't see.
She's laughing at my using that on my elbows. It kind of worked though. Now I have new skin growing there, and it's going to be nice and soft when the scabs fall off. So
wow. There's that.
There's that. You know, keeping it real.
Bailey still has not learned to parallel park.
Or gotten her driver's license.
Because she hasn't learned to parallel park.
Yeah.
She tells us every week, "Hey, can somebody take me to parallel park this weekend?" And we go, "Yeah, sure." And then she sleeps until 2 p.m. every day. And then when she gets up, she has somewhere to go with her friends who already got their driver's licenses. So Courtney continues to get up at 6:30 in the morning to take Bailey to school.
Yeah.
I would tell her she either has to ride the bus or get her driver's license, but that's me because I'm the mean one in the family. Nobody likes me.
She thinks you should get a pedicure.
Oh, Alma, don't do this to me. The last time I had to do something because y'all said it, I had to cut my beard off.
If I can get him
it's
to go,
almost back.
I will film it because when they do the little scrubbing thing on your heel and foot, he was all like, you know, laughing all hysterically about it. So it's been a while. It's been several years since he went. What else?
I'll have to consider that.
What?
Okay. What else did we do this week?
Yes. Well, also Bailey did get invited to the PALS program, which Brian will talk you into it, Spence. Which she needs to learn to drive. So basically it's a mentoring program that I think each campus has like, I don't even know the number, 75 students, 50, 75 students, somewhere around there, where they get to go to an elementary and be a peer mentor to at-risk kids. So you have to have lots of teacher recommendations and things like that. So she did get that. So I told her, you got to learn to drive because I'm not coming to school and picking you up in second period, driving you to your school, sitting in the parking lot and driving you back. So
that's right. Beth's on the mean train with me. Way to go, Beth.
You're the mean one. The mean train.
I was saying that we should.
Wait, Shannon, Brian, and Spence need to do a video together.
So we're
working on that.
Talked about some ideas.
Spence and I are going to visit Shannon and Brian sometime this year, and we'll make something happen.
You guys are the regulars.
We'll make
Y'all
something
tell us
happen.
what you think. So we had a couple of ideas, and Shannon and Jennifer and none of these people know about this, so don't tell them and just pretend they're not in the chat.
What?
Some of the ideas we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Courtney and I talked about renting an RV and going on a road trip from DIYer to DIYer. And I'd be like Cousin Eddie parked out in front of their house, emptying out the RV into the sewer line. No, I mean, we've talked about doing some stuff like that and doing a road trip to go and visit some folks. We're trying to get past all of this COVID stuff and weird regulations in different places and all of the other garbage with it. But yeah, I think post-COVID, post everything with Courtney's mom, post snowstorms and all of the weird stuff we've been through this year, I think Courtney needs a little break. And so we're going to take a trip of some sort. The question is whether or not we do something crazy like that with it. Brian and Spencer go to the nail salon. That's
good content right there.
Has all kinds of danger written all over it. But yeah, we've talked about doing something like that. We've talked about seeing if there are other people that would like to go on a trip with us somewhere, and all meeting up somewhere and just getting away and having a good time with it. But yeah, I mean, we'll share all of that with you guys. The other thing, well, two other things that we've talked about. One is these lives aren't so difficult to do now, and there's some new stuff coming out with YouTube. that will make it easier to set up recurring lives or going live regularly with a setup. And I have talked to Courtney about, and she has been hesitant to do it, but you tell us what you think. She's crafting anyway. Like, she's sitting here working on something all day. One of the questions is...
But I talk to myself when I craft a lot.
Well, sure. And then you'd have someone else to talk to. If
I
you
don't
went
say
live,
nice words.
It would not be a PG live event. And if you have sensitive ears, you'd have to not watch it.
What?
But I have told her that
It's
one of the
mostly
things...
PG.
I told her that one of the things
like
that she should look at is
1980s
crafting
PG.
live while she's doing the stuff to put together for the video that will go up with the actual projects in it. The nice. Well, you've seen some of her outtakes. You haven't seen all of her outtakes.
No, there are some outtakes I will never, ever show.
Courtney loves curse words. There
Hey,
you go.
Sarah Jane. That could be the name of the outtakes or the bloopers reel.
So one of the things that we've talked about is her actually doing lives more often, but just not with any purpose. Not, hey, here's the updates on this. It's just, I'm crafting today and I'm going to craft live, and you guys can craft along with me or ask questions or make suggestions or whatever else happens with it. And then the normal video would go up on the main channel of, here's the finished product and here it is fast forwarded so you can watch the whole thing in 15 minutes instead of 15 hours. She takes a lot of coffee breaks.
I do not take
naps,
15 hours to do projects. You can ask Jennifer.
She has
Jennifer
to
and I
take
have
breaks in the
regular
afternoon.
Conversations about my process in doing videos.
Beth said that would be fun.
And Kristen. I try to slam it out. This last video I put up took me a week to do, and that was rough. Too long. I need to just...
And y'all would have to be
Get 'em
okay with her hair looking, crazy
wrong with
like
my
it
hair?
does. Not right now.
My hair is always crazy. They know I'm not a beauty and hair
Listen,
channel.
I took a
That's for
shower
sure.
for y'all today.
I put on makeup. Kind of. So.
Yeah. And there's that. I brushed my teeth so that my breath wouldn't smell for you. I
Give
put
us
some
a
stuff in
supply
my
list.
beard that Courtney says
That's
smells
a
good.
idea.
What's that?
Give a supply list.
If y'all don't know, that's actually how Courtney got started crafting on YouTube. She'd been crafting for forever, and she started doing these crafting nights at our house with her friends, where she would go buy all of the crafting supplies for everybody. And when you showed up, you had here's your station at the table.
Yes, Renee,
and she'd walk everybody through how to build it with, all of the stuff that she had there.
I was born at St. Luke's in Houston. Born and raised Texan right here.
Oh, and I think Renee was the one in St. Louis. So I went to Lafayette High School.
No, she said she worked for a lawyer.
No, they have an office in Houston. She's in St. Louis. You need to read the comments.
Sorry.
Try and keep up, please.
Sorry.
I went to Lafayette High School, which was out in unincorporated far end of the county at that point. I think now it's called Wildwood or something. I think it's incorporated, but that was 25, 30 years ago. So I don't remember how long. Trying to remember when I was in high school. So yeah, Courtney's from Houston. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
And then he moved to St. Louis for high school.
Yeah. And then Texas for college.
Then he came to Texas for college.
And then I met Courtney, who beat me over the head with a club and dragged me back to her cave and told me I could never leave. And so I've just
we
been
tried
here
to live
since.
outside of Texas, but it was not a good experience at all. 1995.
Yeah, 95 from high school.
It was not a good experience at all. And we came back very quickly after 8 months.
So yeah, if you guys...
Yeah, Spencer's trying to get me to do that.
Shoot Courtney paper airplanes on Instagram or something.
Gosh.
And
I have a giveaway. You want to do the giveaway?
how are we doing it?
So like I said, I was cleaning out my drawers. And I found some extra stencils, so I'll show you what they are. So these are just vinyl stencils, so you'll use your own paint. It says Happy Easter. There's a rabbit. This one says, oh, for peep's sake. And then this one says Happy Easter. And I'm just going to...
Why doesn't it say Happy Easter?
This one
that
says
would be way
Happy
better.
Easter. That one says Happy Easter.
Right, but it's on a bunny. Like that's where it needs to say hoppy.
Can you just not do that? Okay.
I know nobody wants the one that says Happy Easter on the bunny.
So how should we do this? Should we do 4 different winners or just all to one person?
4 different winners.
4 different winners. You heard it first. We'll let you pick which one you want. Okay, Spence, you decide how to pick these people. Come on, you're creative. You're creative.
All right.
Why don't you ask a question?
Everybody get your typing fingers ready.
Oh, gosh.
The first person to correctly spell our oldest child's name. Go.
Oh, okay. We don't talk about her. Oh. Oh no. Keep going. Keep going.
We've had one person get the name right, but not spell it right. There we go.
Who is it?
Beverly Peters.
Beverly Peters.
Beverly
Peter.
Peters.
Okay, which one do you want? You need to write this down. We weren't prepared.
You weren't prepared. I didn't know you were giving anything
Do
away.
you have a piece of paper? I'm going to write it on the back of the... Hold on.
Brian's cheating.
I'm going to write it on the back of a Cricut Smart Label. Okay, what is it? Beverly Peters? Okay.
Beverly Peters, you need to
which
send
one?
an email
Yeah.
to realmrcheap@gmail.com.
Okay.
REALMISTERCHEAP.
Which one
at
do you
gmail.com.
want, Beverly? Do you want this Hoppy Easter, the Peepsake, the Bunny Happy Easter, or just the plain bunny? Okay, we'll wait for her to say. Okay, we'll wait for her to pick one. I'm going to write it down, and we're going to mail it. Okay.
So, Beverly, if you will send an email to that email address, realmrcheap@gmail.com, with your mailing address, we will mail it
Okay,
off
Beverly
to you.
wants the Happy Easter. This one? This one. Okay, I'm going to write your name on the back. Okay, do the next one.
Okay. Question number 2. This one is for the Hoppy Easter stencil, because we're not going to try and pick this after
Okay,
the fact
there we
anymore,
go.
like somebody's
No.
not doing well.
Jeez. I can't help it that you always like to give away my stuff. Okay, anyway. Let's write names on the back.
There's someone in the comments named Hail Damage Production who thought he was being cheeky when he said our oldest child's name and spelled it out correctly for the last answer. If you can tell me which YouTube DIYer spouse that is.
I already said it in the thing.
Well, let's see who was paying attention.
Oh, okay.
First person to know who Hail Damage Production is married to.
This is nerve-wracking. Oh, Renee, look at that. There you go. Renee wins Hoppy.
Renee Chapman, send an email to realmrcheap@gmail.com
Okay,
with your mailing address.
here's let's just do these. This is going to be the big one. You get 2. You get the bunny and this one.
All right, what's the last question?
You're good at the questions. You decide.
All right. First person to answer this question correctly. Between Courtney and Spencer, who is your favorite?
Oh, that's a stupid question. That is the dumbest question ever. Look who's holding the stencils. Although I have a feeling some people would pick you. Oh, Spencer! Beth! I'm hurt.
Beth Tamayo,
Beth
send an
Tamayo.
email to realmrcheap@gmail.com.
Oh my goodness. My heart is crumbled, as Sam used to say.
That's all right. Jennifer likes you better.
Beth, you just made his life by telling
Alma,
us.
do you like her better? Oh my goodness.
The Beths like Spencer. There's another one that likes you too. All right, so send those emails, and then once he gets those, I'll make sure to get these into the mail. Write the names on there. Okay, any other last minute questions for us?
Spencer loves controversy. Yeah, who has questions about anything? I think, we answered some as we went through, but We're open to whatever. This is the Ask Me Anything portion. Oh, here's a good one. Here's a story from earlier today for you guys.
Oh, no.
Apparently, we do not have enough romantic food in our pantry.
Oh, gosh. Why are you telling that story?
Does anyone else have romantic food in their pantry? Stop banging your cup on
sorry.
it. It shakes everything around.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Courtney was in the pantry trying to get food out earlier, and I leaned in to try and give her a kiss, and she said...
You didn't lean in. You assaulted me in the pantry. You came in and shut the door and gave me a kiss. All the meanwhile, I'm sitting there looking at
She's
ramen
like, you're
noodles
making
and
me
beans
claustrophobic, and
and
there's not enough
bread
romantic food in the pantry.
and, like chicken of the sea.
I'm just trying to figure out what romantic food is so I
what?
can put some in the pantry.
Our pantry would be full of chocolate covered strawberries.
When's my next Dollar Tree trip? So that's the other thing we probably ought to talk about. I didn't think about this. I have been taking a break from content.
Yes, he has.
Primarily because I am crazy busy at work right now. So we're getting into our busy season. But the other part of it is I am trying to figure out what to do and be consistent on stuff. I don't do anything without a plan. I think we can agree on that, right?
Yeah, he's a big planner.
Yeah, we need a full prospectus and a business plan and a 10-year strategy and key performance indicators so we can do a gap analysis down the road. But that's kind of, I know you guys are interested in that. I am interested in it. I don't want to do something that I can't commit to or that I can't dedicate enough time to be good at it, to give you guys the quality that I think you deserve and I want to do.
But he did have an idea today, so we're still discussing.
I had, I think, a good idea today.
It's a very good idea.
We've had several good ideas. My issue becomes...
And some of my friends have said, Spencer should,
I can't just stop owning a business. I have employees. I have, a lot of people that work for me that make their living off of me. I don't think that I'm going to sell it anytime soon. We do have a kind of mid-range plan to do that, but it's not something anytime soon. And for me to put the time into this that I would really want to put into it, I've either got to figure out how to rearrange my time or free up more time from work to be able to do it. But yes, I have some ideas. I want to do more. I've even slowed down on some of the Instagram stuff and whatever, because I never did that before Courtney Loves Coffee came about and I started doing some things with it. Courtney has, I think, a really good plan for what's going to happen with her this year. It's just a lot of trying to get past everything that's been going on in terms of COVID and, horrible weather here and stuff with her mom, takes a lot of her time right now. And so, yeah, big things coming for Courtney, maybe big things coming for me if I can figure out a way to make it all work. But what I don't want to do is go, hey, let's go do this, and then get one video a month out because it's all I have time for or something else like it.
I did want to say this. I was waiting to make an announcement, but I'm going to make it here.
I don't know what it is either.
It's not really a big announcement. I am excited because it was actually a gift from my mom, because one of the things she's doing right now is she is wanting to let us get things for ourselves that we would normally never buy, so that she can kind of see and take part in the thing. So I ordered a laser cutter. It's not a Glowforge, but it's a different brand. It's by Flux. And I'm super excited because now I can do some of my own little cutouts. And I do have plans, and I really want to do some things where eventually I might have a little shop that I open up and do like limited edition Christmas wooden ornaments and things like that. So that is something I'm working on, but that's kind of one of the things for this year. Plus, I want to do some giveaways. One of the things I really wanted to do was make little 3-tier tray sets and do a giveaway every now and then and send like the natural wood to you, and then you can paint your own, but you'd have everything you needed. So I'm hoping to do more, like, because I just love to do giveaways. So I'm super excited.
When she
Oh,
says
Renee, you bought a Glowforge? Okay.
when she says little laser cutter, this thing is ginormous. It comes with its own air handling system.
It was air freight delivered. It was kind of scary because they had to
Not
put it on
air,
a pallet.
just freight.
Freight, sorry. It was on a pallet out there. And
Like
then
an
we had to bring it
18-wheeler
in.
pulled up in front of our house and
so-
unloaded this thing with a forklift.
Yes. So that's kind of one of the things I'm going to be working over the next couple of months and hopefully have some things to show for it.
There's
I'm
another person
excited.
that said kits. I keep telling you.
No, she's talking about the 3-tier tray kits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like just a couple different pieces in it, and then you would put them together and you can paint them yourself. And I got the Flux Beam Box is the one. I went back and forth between that one and the Glowforge.
Not sponsored. This is not an advertisement.
This was, again, this was a gift from my mom to me. It's something that I've wanted for the last couple of years, but they are kind of pricey, but now I can make things and kind of do some fun stuff. So,
Claudia, we'd all like to see it in action, but it's still in the box downstairs.
I might show it on Instagram.
It's really heavy.
Yeah, I might do a story and show it there. But I got to figure out where I'm going to put it set up here. But I'm excited. I've got the wood. I've got some SVGs. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to cut some stuff.
I have no idea what an SVG is.
Well, there's lots of stuff about the Glowforge, so I think you should probably, there's a, Renee, send me an email just with your email address, and I'll email back someone I found that actually does a lot of Glowforge tutorials that you might want to check out on YouTube, because I watched a lot. She does a lot of good projects. Bye, Shannon. Thank you for jumping on. And Brian. All right. Any other last minute questions
Brian's
for
probably
us?
not getting off. I don't go to the grocery store. I make you go to it.
You're such a brat. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully you might see a little more Spencer, but yeah, we're trying to get our time locked
To give you
down.
guys an idea of how busy I am, I worked this morning.
And yesterday morning.
I got up at 6:30 this morning, went and worked for 3 hours. I have a gym that we're trying to get finished up and needed to check the floor before people got on it
Is there
today.
anything else you want to give away in my craft room while you're up here?
Is that an offer?
What do you see?
I don't know. I didn't get an opportunity to look around first, but I'm
Oh.
sure we can find some stuff.
Might as well.
All right. Brian had to leave too.
Real Mr. Cheap, or you can send the email to me too, Beth, if you want, creativeonthecheap@gmail, or whichever is easier, or REALMR.
MISTER.
Oh, sorry. Just send it to me, Beth. That might be easiest. creativeonthecheap@gmail.com.
Well, so that was the other thing, Renee, that we talked about, whether or not content could include what I do every day. There are some issues with that. One is that I have a business partner who's not opposed to the idea, but I have to consider that just because I think it's funny or interesting doesn't mean that everybody else will. And I don't ever want to put anybody else's business and financial, means and whatever else at risk because of stuff that I say at work or do at work. The other part of it is my clientele is uber high end.
Uber high end. That's a funny way to describe it.
I deal with people that people know who are already on social media in big ways and things like it. And a lot of times they don't want their business out there. They don't want people knowing what goes on at their houses. I do like a lot of athletes. I do a lot of big business guys, a lot of oil people. And so
that's why they like him, Claudia, why the athletes around Houston will use him, because he treats them like any other client. And a lot of them like that. Like that he doesn't go in there goo goo and gaga and wearing like their jerseys. And I mean, he's very, just like anybody else, he's very professional about it. So, and most of them are very receptive to that. They,
And once you do work with one of them, the word just kind of gets around. They all know each other. They all hang out at each other's houses and whatever else with it. And yeah, probably not the best thing for me to include the business stuff. Like we actually got approached by a reality TV show runner several years ago about would we be interested in doing something? And that was the conversation is, look, I don't know that our clientele really wants us to do that. There are people who would use us just for that because it gives them more exposure. But
Spence could be his own reality TV show.
I don't know about that. And I'm not interested in that. We had another friend that had another very unique business that was talking to some people about doing it and found out how much control you lose over it. And that's really not something that we're interested in.
Yep. So that's the latest with us. Hopefully get back on the schedule for vlogs. I don't know if y'all are liking the weekly vlog recaps, but I'm definitely wanting to I've got a lot of organization stuff that I want to do. Pantry especially is my next big thing to organize.
And put more romantic food in.
Yeah, I'll show you our pantry and all the non-romantic food inside of it. Love the vlogs. Okay. We'll keep doing the vlogs. And then Sam's room is going to be the next makeover. So I'm about to start on that as soon as he cleans his room, which
thank you, Alma.
Is organizing videos. Yeah, I love to organize things. It's just hard to do. Don't listen to Spence. I like organizing. It just doesn't stay that way.
She likes the thought of organizing.
I like to do it, and then I don't really keep it organized until that's the problem.
It has to be a project. It can't be ongoing maintenance organization.
No.
It's I'll organize all of this, and it'll look really pretty, and then it won't get
Yes.
organized again until she redoes it all.
Yes. How old are we both? I'm old. I'm older than him. How old am I? I can't even remember.
44.
44. I'll be 45 very soon. Well, not very soon. In August. I want to be an organizer. Well, Beth, come to my house.
She's a wannabe organizer.
Oh, wannabe organizer. Okay. I was like, hey, if you want to be an organizer over here, come on over. But yeah, so that's kind of our plan. Is I'm going to get back on the vlog. So won't have a vlog up on Tuesday. But the next week will probably be a combination of some other footage that I did shoot the last 2 weeks. So, all right, that's the latest. I will get these mailed out. Thank y'all for joining. And I'm sure now Spence is going to go around and try to find more things to give away in our next live stream.
We'll definitely work on that. We're going to have all the spring projects to get rid of here pretty quick.
Yes. So definitely.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. Really, really appreciate it. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Do you do like the hand
on the camera?
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, on the next one, I think we're going to play the newlywed game. What do you think?
We've been married 23 years.
It's fun. I don't know how to do the camera thing on this one.
All right, so guys. I'll just click the end stream button. We'll see y'all later.
See ya. Bye.
Oh, it's asking me if I really want to end the stream.
Do you really want to go?
Do you really want to leave? Okay, now we're really going. We'll see you later. Bye.